Welcome back to the show. Our next guest is training for the Pan American Games and the 2016 Olympics in the 100-meter hurdles. We are joined by Corelle Edwards. Welcome to the show, Corelle. Great to have you here. So how did you get your start in track and field?
I actually started off as a gymnast, a provincial level gymnast, and then I kind of knew that I wouldn't really get to the level I wanted to with my gymnastics, and I always enjoyed running, so I thought I would make the switch one day when I was ready.
So, but running's one thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of straight line and pretty easy. When you add in the hurdle, it becomes that much more difficult. What attracted you to hurdles?
Well, I started off as a long jumper, and then it wasn't until grade 11 that the head coach of my club decided I was going to try the hurdles. And at first, I really didn't want to, but he didn't really give me a choice. But so I did it, and it turned out to be a good thing because I got some success pretty early on. I made Team Canada for World Youth and World Juniors in my first 2 years, and I got a scholarship to Syracuse University, so yeah.
So to get to that point, you just mentioned you made Team Canada, World Youth, World Juniors. What kind of training is necessary in order to get to that kind of elite status?
I mean, it requires a lot of training. I mean, right now I'm training 5 to 6 times a week.
Okay.
You know, a few hours a day. But also everything we do off the track is as important as the things I do on the track. So rest, recovery, proper nutrition, treatment. So it's very time consuming.
Yeah, no kidding. You did suffer, though, a serious back injury quite a few years back. Tell us how that happened. Yeah.
Originally, I have a bulging disc in my lumbar spine. So I originally hurt myself in high school lifting weights. But I took about a month off and came back and was fine, as if nothing happened. I finished my season strong. It wasn't until I left for Syracuse University where I did a warm-up my first week there. And still everything was fine until the next morning. I woke up in pain and could barely move, and then that was it for 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, it was a long time.
That's a long time.
Yeah, definitely. It
so
was hard.
why the length of time? I mean, you know, I've known people that have had back injuries. You're an elite athlete, and it took you 3 years to get back.
Yeah, I mean, it was, you know, one thing was to get back to my daily activities, so being out of pain with that. But to get back to the kind of level of training I do, you know, there's that extra step. And it took a while before we really figured out what was wrong and what I needed to do to get better. I mean, I pretty much consulted every specialist out there.
Yeah.
But finally I found what worked, and I basically had to kind of retrain or reprogram my body, kind of like change my movement patterns. So, you know, how to sit properly with the right posture, walk with the right posture, even opening doors, getting in and out of bed, on off the floor. So every day I had to make like a conscious effort to do all these little things properly.
Right.
And then on top of that, I had 3 fundamental core exercises that I did every day, twice a day for years. And I mean, at school, I had to carry around a back pillow and stand at the back of the class, take my notes. And
really?
Yeah, so it took time because it was, I mean, a lot of things with this injury is just waiting it out, time, and then just working at it every single day.
Well, and we spoke before the show, a lot of people might have given up. You know, after a year, what sort of kept you going?
What was your motivation during all that?
Yeah.
Well, a couple things. I mean, although I had my doubts whether I was going to, you know, come back and when, I actually never thought about not trying. That was just never a topic of conversation in my household.
Right.
But I also had, you know, a doctor tell me that I would never run again and I should pick up a new hobby, and I actually use that as motivation to come back as well.
A new hobby?
Yeah.
Like, you're an elite athlete and he's calling it a hobby. That would have motivated me right there, just those words. So then you had to obviously adapt to that new reality. When did you get to the point where you felt you were back and at the status that you needed to be at?
I mean, I've been 3 years back now, and it's still a process, but I'd say this year I was finally kind of able to push the envelope a little more. I still can't do everything the average athlete does, I guess, but every year I'm kind of able to reintroduce something into my training, and we're just building on everything I just laid the foundation last year. So yeah, it's just a process, and I'm working at it still now.
For hurdles, first of all, how far apart are the hurdles in a 100-meter? Do you know?
I think it's 8.5
Like,
meters.
do you have to count? Like, how do you?
Steps.
Yeah, I was going to say. So, is it just teaching your body that you have 3 steps and?
Yeah, it's always the same rhythm. So you have 8 steps to the first hurdle, and then between each hurdles, it's 3 steps. So you always have the same leg going over the hurdle, and So you get used to the rhythm.
And it's not distracting to do that with somebody like right beside, like that's what always amazes me. You watch the
falls
Olympics.
beside you.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things you have to learn as athletes, to stay focused on your lane and not get distracted by the other.
So you got to be in tunnel vision pretty much. What's it like? So you're a full-time athlete now. How do you eat? If you don't mind me asking. You know, like it's not easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much impossible to have a full-time job.
Yeah.
So I do have some funding through the Ontario government, which helps a bit.
Okay.
And family and friends have made some donations through my website, kareledwards.wordpress.com. But yeah, what would be extremely helpful would be to find sponsors that could provide a level of assistance that would allow me to, focus all of my energy into my training, allow me to get the proper treatments to stay healthy. Proper nutrition, supplements can be quite expensive.
Yeah.
But also allow me to travel to training camps and competitions. We're required to hit standards to make teams pretty early on in the season.
Okay.
And since it's cold here pretty much the entire year, we have to go down south to find warm weather.
Hey, can you stick around for a couple of more minutes?
Sure.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Karel Edwards right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the show. We're back with Karel, who is training for the Pan American Games. We mentioned also the ultimate goal is to make it to the Olympics. So what do you have to do between now and the 2016 Olympic, I guess, trials for Canada? What do you have to do between now and then in order to get to that level and compete in the Olympics?
So, I mean, every year my coach put me on a 4-year plan. So I'm every year we're bumping up the training.
Okay.
So just working on speed, power, and with my back, like I said, we can reintroduce a few things into my training now. So hopefully I'll get stronger. And then same thing, stay healthy is the key here. And just compete, just to get the experience.
Well, because we have elite women, I mean, world-class women hurdlers here in Canada. Is it a tight community? Have you met some of the others? Do you share? I know it's obviously it's a competitive field even between yourselves, but is it? Do you get any feedback from them?
Yeah, I mean, I see them often because we're competing against each other all the time. But yeah, definitely, every athlete has a story, and I've been able to talk to some of the hurdlers, and Perdita Felician is one of them who, during my injury, was there and actually helped me and talked to me about her experience as well. So.
Oh, excellent.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And you do your nails up before
all
every
the
event.
time.
Those are nice nails. I like the little gold accents on them.
Always have to be done before a race.
That's motivation gold, right?
That's right.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly. You mentioned you're seeking sponsorship, so important for you in order to get to that level. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you if people are interested?
Either through my Twitter account at Karel Edwards, or I have a website, like I said, kareledwards.wordpress.com. So.
Amazing. And the Pan American Games, you don't have. You're already going to the Pan American.
No,
Games.
so we won't know till June of next year. So every year you have to requalify for and hit a certain standard.
Right.
Yeah. So top 3 in the country next year in June with the standards gets to go.
Well, we'll be cheering you on.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was great meeting you. Thanks so much
for
joining us.
having me.
Thank you for joining us as well. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.